yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your cloud, it be raining now. I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
What's going on, everybody? And thank you for coming back and catching another episode of the Night's Watch. I really appreciate all y'all showing up. That's awesome. Got a good crowd in here tonight. That's cool. Well, guys, I have an interesting show tonight planned for everybody. We're going to go over a little bit of Alabama cryptids, I guess you could say. But before we get into that, I just want to give you guys like a quick little update on what's going on. So after tonight's episode, I've got a pre-record coming out with Brian from Black Mass Paranormal, and that's going to be real fun. He's a real cool guy, and I think you guys are going to enjoy that. But now, after that, I think I'm going to have a week off, mostly because work. I'm going out of town for a week tomorrow. I'm going to come back and have like a day in between and then go out for 2 weeks. And then I think I may have a day in between before I have to go out to the field and do some camera work. So, yeah, it's going to be very stressful and lots of stuff going on. But if I can find a way to get some stuff out there to you guys while I'm out and about, I will. So, just keep your notifications on and yada yada. Be looking for me. But anyways, now that we got all that out of the way, let's get into the fun stuff, shall we? So with that being said, let's get our good buddy, Mr. Michael, up here.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm just living the dream.
Yeah? Yeah, hear that. So, how's the weather over there in Georgia?
Oh, man, it was probably about 65 here today. Got out, played around a little bit, and you just can't beat this warm weather in the winter.
Yeah, I know it, right? It's so amazing. I hope it carries on for while I'm out at work, because God, I about died in Florida last week. I swear, it was so cold.
Yeah, I mean, that cold snap, I'm not good in cold weather anyway. I'm not a jacket person.
Yeah, I normally am not either, but I was forced to be that time, so we make do. But anyways, man, let's introduce the audience to you. Give us a little bit of information about yourself.
I'm Michael. I am originally from Alabama, now living in Georgia, and I retired from being a deputy sheriff over in right under where you live, and I've been researching cryptids since I was 18 years old. Now I'm fixing to be 44 and put a lot of time in this. Just wish there's a good retirement plan in it.
Yeah, I hear you. It would be a good time. But we'll see what we can't make happen. Now, tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel that you're starting up, bud.
I've got this weird world 99, and basically it's just a fat guy, me, talking about cryptids of the southeast, because you know that's where I'm from and that's what I know.
Right. So with that being said, everybody out there, make sure you guys go out there and give them a like and a subscribe, show them some love, because stuff is going to be coming out very soon.
I've got one up now. It's the White Thang. I don't really do a lot of long videos.
Mm-hmm.
So it's if you wonder what I'm doing, the Rumble's on, and I'm sitting in the kitchen catching glances of it.
No worries. Well, yeah. So guys, y'all get on that. But anyway, so today we're going to talk a little bit about the Alabama White Thang.
Yeah, the Alabama White Thang I've always took about 4 different types of reports on it, and there's 4 different type of creatures that go by the Alabama White Thang. One is the traditional that's real popular in central Alabama, Birmingham, Birmingport, parts of Tuscaloosa, Walker County, Shelby and Bibb County, and it's the Sasquatch, and it's very aggressive, and it's kind of like Clint Eastwood and Gran Torino, old grumpy and wants you to stay off his lawn.
Right. It's something funny about those whole white Bigfoot stories. They always seem to be real mean for whatever reason.
They're old. They're just
yeah. I guess like that's it.
Ready to retire.
Yeah.
All these kids with their fancy 8-track tapes and booming sound systems just bothering them.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's true too. To be fair, I'm not even all that gray or white myself yet, but I still kind of feel that way myself. But
this is marriage and kids right here. This is what it does.
That's exactly what mine is from too. I understand that totally. Oh, trust me.
Another one is a Dogman that gets a lot of credit for being the White Thang. And they say he's pretty aggressive. Of course, they are.
Right.
Then another one that's been described as having a lion's mane, and everybody says it looks like a cat. And they're not as aggressive. They're more laid back and more, I hate to say friendly, but that's what they're described as.
Less crotchety.
Yeah. And then the fourth one is a big blob of light. It's like a light person. Just a big blob of light, white light. And that's been reported more down south, like Mobile, Baldwin, Washington, Clarke, and Escambia County.
Okay.
The cat version has been reported more around Mount Cheehaw. Of course, Mount Cheehaw has a lot of weird stuff going on.
Yeah, it has a bit of a history there, and it's definitely got a lot of reports of, just about everything around there.
I've done reports of the Wampus cat, UFOs.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything in the Talladega National Forest.
Yes, Dega's got a lot of Sasquatch activity.
Yeah, I had a buddy that put a camper out there. He had to get special permission from the National Forest Police.
Yeah.
He did, and he said he was out there for 2 hours and his RV started getting hit by rocks.
Wow, that was fast.
He said he couldn't stay. He started hearing a lot of screams and stuff. I was like, well, I'm glad you left and you're in one piece.
Yeah, that's always a good thing.
Of course, he just ain't as dedicated as some of us.
Yeah, it takes a bit of a touch of PTSD to be able to sit out there and take it. For me, I'm more of like when things start popping off, I'm just like, okay, this isn't the worst hill in the world to die on. Just go ahead and bring it. I'm here for it.
Oh, at this point, I go out there, sit, let them scream and throw something at me, and go, "Hey, I got kids. This is worse. This ain't no worse than what I deal with daily."
Yeah, it's a walk in the park, right?
I'll catch a rock and throw it back.
There you go. Yeah. So, as far as the White Thang goes, and Lord, that is the most southern name ever. I love it. White Thang. Yeah.
We do things different in Alabama.
That's true. So, as far as the White Thang goes, what would you say would be your favorite variety of it?
Well, I sympathize more, and I feel kind of like the older Sasquatch is my spirit animal at this point in my life. So I'd say me and him would get along just fine.
Yeah. As long as you guys don't argue about who's for dinner.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he don't want to eat me. I'm all fat now, and my bones just ain't as good as they used to be.
What I'm hearing is that you'd be easy to catch for him. He'll love you a lot.
Oh yeah, if I go in the woods with somebody, I don't have to worry about outrunning nobody but the person with me.
Right.
And
So
that ain't easy anymore for me.
I understand. So as far as that goes, man, how many reports from the state of Alabama do you have on the white Sasquatch, and of those, what really strikes you about it?
The consistency of all of them, especially around central Alabama.
Yeah.
I've done, throughout doing this, I've probably taken about 40 to 45, and it's in different parts, and it's just the consistency of it. It's just every one of them saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And these are people, live an hour and a half away, don't know the other person. I mean, it's just strange, and I mean, there's no possible way this could be made up.
Right. For sure. Yeah. Is there any particular details that you find really interesting that is like a common through line with all those stories? Like, I guess as far as maybe behavior, environment, anything like really stand out to you there?
They're going more into neighborhoods, rooting through garbage and whatnot. That's the one thing that's getting me. They're seeing them in their yards and everything else.
Well, that's interesting. But then again, I mean, if we've already established that he's old and ain't really into chasing deer too much, I guess it makes a little bit of sense, right?
It does. And I mean, it's just like any other animal, like coyotes and bears starting to come out more and more. And it's the more we build, the more of their land we're taking, and they're wanting it back.
Right.
So either we're going to either give it to them, coexist with them, or what,
Yeah, not so much. Not on board with the coexistence part. I mean, if we take the route of charismatic megafauna, I mean, it'd be kind of cool. I could see a lot of folks trying to be a different flavor of Tiger King with it, but I feel like it'd be a hard neighbor to have around. Like it's gonna take a lot of food to keep that guy happy.
Yeah, and something that gets to me is they have. It's an intelligence to them. Like,
exactly.
They're actually, people don't like to admit this, but they're smarter than us. They really are.
Yeah,
they really are. Everything I have worked on and seen in my life, they are far more intelligent than us. I mean, they communicate like we do.
Right.
But the difference is they can stay hid from us and we never see them.
True. Very true. Yeah. So Okay. Now, is there any overlap, would you say, in the, let's just call it the range of the Sasquatch type and the other three?
The Talladega National Forest is about the only overlap.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep. That's the only real overlapping area. But now the one I was talking about in South Alabama does overlap with something that lives in Clarke County, and you're going to laugh at the name, but it's called the Stanking Thing.
Stanking thing.
The Stanking Thing.
So, okay.
Foul odor.
Oh man, we're real original here in Alabama. Sorry, folks.
Hey, we call it thing.
Everything's a thing, you know.
That's big thing, little thing.
It's just one of them things.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's Alabama for you.
Yeah. So I guess that's like more of a take on, say, like a skunk ape, basically, right? A lot of swampy area, bayou, and stuff like that down there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have family in Clarke, and the further you get, you have you go to the beach, and if I was something like that, I'd just hang out at the beach all day. But
then you could be the tan thing.
Yep. They'd call me the tan thing.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, no thank you. I prefer the mountains. Not a big beach guy.
And here's the kicker, and it's really weird. I hate sand, but I like the water.
Yeah. It's nice. I personally am very much not a fan of what lives in the water, though.
Yeah, I mean, the mountains are probably a lot safer, unless you run into a mountain lion or a cougar or something like that. But
yeah, but
you have a 50-50 shot with that. I mean, you can see it, you can prepare for it. But if you're in the water, you don't see it. So you really can't prepare for it.
You can't prepare for that thing.
That's a big thing.
That's a bad thing.
It's a swimming thing.
Pretty moist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to throw a thing in there at every point I get now. I have to at this point. It's just one of them things.
Talked to a friend of mine that does skinwalkers. And say, oh, that's the changing thing.
The changing thing.
Aliens, the green thing.
Yeah.
I've been up in your neck of the woods. Them UFOs used to be pretty prevalent up there.
Oh, they still are. They're very prevalent still.
Is it like long lost family members?
Huh?
Is it like long lost family members up there?
I don't know about that. There's a lot of them, and generally speaking, I don't know if people are just kind of numb to it at this point, or if it's more of a too many airplanes in the sky and they're just like, yeah, it's just a plane, you know.
Well, I have a good friend. He is like obsessed. He used to be obsessed with aliens and stuff, and now, since it's pretty much common knowledge, they could one land and nobody even bat an eye anymore. Just
like, no,
2025. It's about time.
Yeah, it's
Look
probably not.
You're late.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea to have it on your bingo card at this point for the year.
I'm waiting for it, and with all these, everything going on, you know, the plane crashes left and right too.
That's some weirdness right there.
There was one in California I heard today.
Really?
That's what somebody said. I don't know. I looked it up and found an article from January the 2nd, but nothing today. Of course, you know, you're going to have rumors of everything right now.
Well, yeah. I mean, we gotta distract from what's actually happening, and
Oh,
things that you
exactly.
should pay attention to. But yeah, it's just 101, but I digress. So, all right. Now, you mentioned the Dogman also being associated as the White Thang as well. Now, I find that very interesting. What do you know about that particular critter?
Well, they come in many different varieties.
Mm-hmm.
Most people report them as being black in color.
Yeah.
Now, when I seen one on patrol, it would look like a bipedal husky.
Very interesting.
Everything about it looked like a husky,
Mm-hmm.
except it was on 2 legs and had 2 arms.
Right.
I
Now,
estimated it 6'5" to 6'6" and weighing about, I'm gonna go with 350 to 400. And it wasn't fat.
right. So let's say built more like a basketball player or a football player.
Built more like a football player.
Okay, so we're talking about a stocky feller here.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'd hate to duck the shoulder and hit.
Right. Well, that's interesting. So as far as husky wise, would you say it was like a white belly with black back, for lack of a better terms, or what are we talking here?
The face had the markings on it.
Mm-hmm.
The stomach was just solid white.
Mm-hmm.
And the back has some patches on it, but I never got a real good look at the back.
Mm-hmm.
It did turn and run, but it hit the high brush real fast, and I couldn't really distinguish. I remember some black on its back, like just blotchy.
Right. And whereabouts was this at?
It was in South Cherokee County.
South Cherokee. Okay. That's interesting because the Dogman that I've seen was also not black. It had a white stomach where its side was like the best way I know how to say it is like a piss stained white. You know what I mean? Like dirty dog. And then the back actually had a silver streak all the way down it.
Yeah.
However, the difference in the one that I saw, it was, well, first of all, it was sitting down. And as it was sitting, it was right up against a fence that was about 5 feet tall. And that fence came up to right here on it. So what that means when it stands up, God, if I know. But, it was, the comment about the husky is interesting because, like, for mine, like, it was very wolfish-like, except for the ears, on mine. Like, the ears is the one thing I can't get around. And it was German Shepherd shaped. So, yeah, anytime anybody, like, throws in the comments about, like, a dog-like feature, my ears go up. I'm like, ooh, tell me more. Because we're so used to, like, hearing them, it's basically like a demon-looking dog that we see in the dark, right? And no, that's not always the case. I'm sure those exist, but like I've never seen it. So it always had some kind of dog-like features, if that makes sense.
Well, there's been some misclassifications.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have taken to calling them hellhounds. They're not.
Right.
2 different critters altogether. And Pamela's asking, did I see the hands? I did, but I don't remember how many fingers it had. But it kind of had human-like hands. It was just thicker than mine, and I've got big hands. So.
Right. Good call. Yeah, that's interesting. I know mine I didn't see the hands on mine because it was laying in the tall grass. Well, its hands were in the tall grass, so I didn't get a look on that. Did yours happen to have a hump on its back?
No.
Or back of its neck? No?
No.
Okay.
It was more muscular looking than most pro wrestlers.
Ah, okay. See, mine was built like a basketball. It was really lanky. Really lanky.
I've heard some are like really big, and I've heard somebody told me them are the soldiers, the smaller ones are the workers, and then you have another one that's kind of like the cream of the crop.
Interesting.
Like they're the intelligent, the kind of like the overseers, I guess you can say.
Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know, so I mean, I can't poo-poo anything. So yeah, I don't see why not.
I can't prove that or disprove that. I've heard that.
Right.
It would be interesting to see their hierarchy, but in another way, the one I seen, I don't want to go back and mess with it.
Yeah, as big as the one I saw was, yeah, I really don't want to mess with it. But
I would honestly rather go and see Bigfoot than a Dogman again.
Yeah, to be fair, Bigfoot's a lot easier to wrap your head around compared to Dogman. You know,
it is. I mean, Bigfoot. I've heard of some being jerks, but most of them's just peaceful. And they would just want to be left alone.
Yeah, I've heard reports going either way. So I mean, who knows? I think it's maybe depends on what kind of mood they're in and if they're crotchety or not.
I agree.
If they've turned into the white thing, then maybe not.
Yeah, when they're born, they're the reddish thing. Now they get old and they're the white thing.
Yeah,
I feel them on that. I used to have red.
Right.
I can't say that. My wife's wonderful. I mean, she's an awesome person.
Oh yeah. They're all golden rays of sunshine, right?
Every one of them.
That's right.
I'm glad it's not cloudy right now.
Yes, sir. But yeah, so the interesting thing about the Dogman, that's really cool that we've both seen one and they were both white-ish at the very least, right?
It is, and I get more reports of that being in Alabama than I have any other state.
You know, it makes me wonder, is it because they're also Alabama or Auburn fans? You think that could be it?
Well, he didn't scream Roll Tide, so I'm going to have to say he might have been an Auburn fan.
Then he's definitely an evil one. Definitely an evil one.
I just can't have that negativity.
Yeah, it's best to avoid that. It's best.
Probably why he ran. He knew I was an Alabama fan.
Probably even had like an Under Armour logo on the back too, right? That's what those black spotches were.
That's what that was, yeah.
That's exactly it. We've solved the mystery. There we go.
And the funny thing is, I'm wearing an Under Armour shirt right now. It's not because I support him. I'm just fat and it fits.
There you go. That's all that matters. And if there's anybody out there that's an Auburn fan, I still love you. I'll be praying for you just a little bit extra more, but I still love you. So you know.
And I run into this with people from other states. Even our church signs will depict Alabama Auburn.
Yeah. Yes.
I have heard little old ladies cussing each other out in beauty salons due to Alabama Auburn.
You know, I'm sure that to people that are not from here, this sounds completely foreign and alien to them. They're like, what? College football? That serious? Oh, yeah. You don't even understand. It's a big deal here. Very big deal.
It's religion in Alabama.
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
And I mean, I married a woman who was a Tennessee fan, so.
Ooh.
she's cool about it. She only rubs my nose in it when Tennessee wins. And she don't even say nothing about that. She pretty much, we don't even talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's a good thing because I don't know that I could deal with that. Oof, that'd be rough.
It's all the same.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see here. Let's move on to my favorite, shall we?
All right.
All right. So my favorite version of the Alabama White Thang is the kangaroo velociraptor cat thing. Like, I don't know what that chimera is, but good Lord, it sounds so fascinating. Right? I mean, it's like this thing that's basically quadrupedal, but can raise up on its hind legs. And when it runs, it's kind of jumping at you like a kangaroo or like a weird deer. And apparently it's got a real long tail with a fur at the end, just like a lion. And it has the head of a deer or maybe a cat. It just depends on the story. Like, that is so just out there. Like, I don't even know what to make of that. What do you think?
I know the one that has the head of a deer. There's a lot of not deer sightings here of late.
Uh-huh.
But it's something funny about that. I was one of the local news in Alabama. They were showing where a kangaroo was loose in Collinsville.
Which, yeah, that's right up my neck of the woods.
And it was, I've never heard it described as that. Now, I've heard of the Georgia raptor. It's supposed to be a velociraptor walking around in South Georgia.
Very cool.
I've heard of not deer, which they're a predatory version of a deer.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of sounds like it could be a version of the cat one I've heard of in Mount Chiahaw.
Yeah.
Well, ain't he pretty?
Yeah, just showing you guys a picture of it. This is probably my favorite picture of the depiction of the White Thang. I don't know what's going on up here on his head. He must have got hit with a baseball bat and he got stitches. And to be fair, as ugly as it is, that sounds about right. But yeah, it's what would you do if you ran into that in the woods? You know what I mean?
Make yourself look unappetizing as possible.
Right, crap yourself. That's definitely the way to handle that.
That's the only way you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only acceptable thing.
That's right. So yeah, there's a little thing for you guys there. It's so interesting because, you know, one, if we want to look at that on a purely scientific and biological term, like there's nothing that I can think of in nature that would really cause that here. You know, I mean, granted, Australia has kangaroos. I get it. It's not like it's entirely unheard of, but it just doesn't make sense. And there's nothing in the fossil record, to my knowledge, that's even close to such a thing. You know what I mean?
I understand, and I've heard stuff that some people talk about interdimensional.
Right.
Other planets. I don't know anything about interdimensional anything. I'm not a physicist or anything. I'm just no redneck that's been out in the woods a lot.
Right.
But it's 2025, and everything we've went through this entire decade, nothing would shock me at this point.
Right.
It could pop up right now and say, hey, I'm from Dimension 6. Well, okay.
Yeah, in Dimension 6, we're all kangaroo thangs.
Yeah, we're all the kangaroo things. We host a YouTube show it's a thing. And
Thing. Yeah, I mean,
it's a thing tube there.
thing tube. I like that. Yeah, so like you bring a good point there. I mean, as far as like origin wise, like interdimensional for that particular critter is the only thing that I can really think that makes any logical sense outside of maybe perhaps like a holdover velociraptor that's got really fine fur, or well, feathers that are really fine, that basically is fur. It's the only thing that makes sense.
A lot of people, I get tickled over this, and the velociraptor isn't what we seen on Jurassic Park.
Right.
You know, if they would have actually had a velociraptor on Jurassic Park, it'd have been a different movie because they're the size of a turkey and you can just kick one of them.
I'm about to say, you just field goal punt that thing.
Yeah. But, you know, like I said, there's been sightings of one in South Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Alti in South Georgia. It's a water dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing I can even relate that picture to.
Yeah.
Unless it could be a kangaroo with the mange. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. You know, I think that when it comes to that particular version of the White Thang, like, to me, it makes more sense to see it as more of a devil monkey, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's what's going on there. Granted, I could be wrong. I've never put eyes on the White Thang. But
I've seen trap cam video.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I mean, I've seen things, but nothing like that.
Yeah. You know, and I've only got one story that's even halfway close. And, you know, to my audience, if you guys have heard it, sorry, but we're about to hear it again. So I used to work with a guy who lived up close to Woodville, Alabama. And he was out hunting, and I don't remember exactly where he was. I want to say he was by a tree, and basically on either end of them was like some terraces, right? Really high, rocky. And as he was waiting for deer to come in, he saw a black shape kind of walk up to the edge of one and start prowling around that ridge line there and kind of looking around and scoping to see what was going on. And when he saw it, he was like kind of confused by it, because to him, he thought it was more or less like a black lab. But when it turned, he saw that it had a real long tail that moved up and down like a cat.
Oh.
And that, you know, caught him off guard. And he was like, what in the world am I looking at? You know, and that's when he did the whole Alabama thing, you know, and basically stood up and yelled at, go on, get, you know. And this thing turned and looked at him like, the heck you say to me? And then it got up on two legs, and that's when he said, oh no, it's time to run. So that's what he did. He ran. And I mean, to be fair, I don't believe that he could outrun such a thing. And it kept up with him, because, you know, he ran all the way to his house. And he ran into the house screaming, and everybody came outside with lights and everything. And they watched this large, I would say 6.5 foot tall, maybe 7, if I remember correctly, figure basically like staying within the tree line, but circling the house and looking at him. And its eyes were glowing, you know, and that freaked everybody out. But good news is, like, after everybody kind of was like finally was able to get over the fascination of what is that, they realized, oh hey, we all have guns, we live in Alabama, so let's start unloading. Yeah. So everybody starts unloading at the thing, and then it goes away. So, and he went back out there. I don't remember if it was the day after or another day or so, but either way, he went out there to look for it because he was just fascinated at that point. Like, what did I see? None of those features make sense. And he showed me a picture of the footprint. And to be fair, it was very canine-like. And the thing that was really striking to me was the size. Like, for a size comparison, he had one of those Bic pens, the cheap ones that you buy in a pack of 20 or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was maybe an inch longer than that pen as far as length went. And, well, I mean, as far as width goes, maybe about the size of your hand or so, but it was very long. And I've always thought about like that story in reference to the kangaroo white thing. And it's like, I wonder if it's the same thing, just different variation or something interdimensional. Like, what is it? It's the only thing that I know of that's close.
Yeah. I'd hate to call it. I mean, they could be pretty much the same exact thing. Yeah, like you said. Just different colorations.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let's see here. So, Jeanette, you've got some recordings of some whoops. That sounds very interesting, and it seemed to have happened after the storm hit. Interesting.
I'd like to know where she's at.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Jeanette, Michael takes reports all the time, and Lord knows I'm happy to do so. Shoot him my way, and I'll make sure he gets them.
I got a report the other day from Fort Payne that somebody was hearing whoops on their break at one of the sock mills.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that at all. I know, what was it? Maybe, I want to say 2 years ago, there was a recording of I want to say a scream that came right off of the mountain there in Fort Payne. And it was right before the train comes, you can hear this thing just letting loose. And it was very nerve-wracking, to say the least. Fort Payne's got a lot of stuff going on up there, especially when you start heading up towards Mentone and 5 Points and all that. Like, it's wild country out there. I mean, shoot, you'll hit a deer just driving around in the middle of the afternoon. I mean, they got all kind of stuff.
There's a school over at 5 Points. I think it's an elementary school or something that's haunted, like, massively.
Really?
Yeah, I know that part of it, and there is some strange stuff, especially around the railroad tracks.
Thank you, Jeanette. Yeah, it's something about that. And and to be fair, like that whole area, I mean, it's basically also like a convergence of 3 national parks, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got like DeSoto and all that stuff. I mean, there's multiples. All their names escape me at the moment, but I feel like that's why there's so much wildlife out there too, because there's so many things converging right there. They have that one little window of where the rest of us actually get to go hunt at, and we don't do enough of it.
I know you had Little River, DeSoto.
Little River, that's it.
And which one was it has the ghost of Granny Dollar everybody's always talked about? I think it's DeSoto.
Yeah, I want to say that's right, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest ghost guy, so I don't really keep up with that.
I just like to hear the old tales, especially around.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot going on up there. I mean, like, whenever I'm driving around up there, I've always got my eyes out. I'm just waiting. If nothing else, to see the too many stray dogs up there at Dogtown.
Yeah.
Which, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, that seems completely foreign as well. But suffice it to say that we have actually a beautiful area that's called, I believe it was called Town at first.
I think
And then
so.
they changed the name of it because there were too many hound dogs running around loose. So now it's called Dogtown officially.
I'd hate to explain to them the community of Lick Skillet.
Yeah. Well, they need to spend a little bit more time reading the whole Confucius things, because if I'm not mistaken, Confucius told us to not smoke pot because you might choke on the handle.
Yeah.
Sorry, dad joke. Had to do it. But yeah. So yeah, I don't know, man. That one interests me. And I have a theory about how the whole devil monkey thing comes about anyways. But yeah, I don't know if anybody wants to hear it. If you guys want to hear it in chat, let me know. I've technically told it on Paranormal Paul's show. But until we get lots of comments asking, let's keep on moving. So the last variety you talked about as being essentially like a plasmoid, if I'm understanding correctly.
Plasmoid ball of electricity. I've never seen this on camera or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I've always said, this could be considered ball lightning, and numerous people that was talking about it to me, and every one of them said, no, this was in the shape of a person. And I'm like,
okay.
Your eyes can play tricks on you. And a few of them said, no, it was walking like a person. What? And something like that, I kind of passed that along to a friend of mine that does ghost hunting.
Yeah.
I just hand that over to him,
Well,
sounds more like something you do.
Yeah, that's fair. But if you want to get a little bit of a biblical perspective on that, who are we told comes and presents itself as a being of light all the time in the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and let's see here. We're talking South Alabama, Mardi Gras, voodoo.
Yep.
I mean, it's not a far stretch to make.
All them sinners.
That's right. That's right.
And anybody wants to know, Mobile, Alabama is the home of the very first Mardi Gras.
This is true. It started down here, not over there, down here. Although, to be fair, I do love Louisiana, though. It's such a beautiful place to drive through.
It is. I've been through it. But there's a smell to New Orleans, and it smells like piss.
Well, to be fair, I said Louisiana, not New Orleans. I don't want to go to America's armpit. Yeah, it's New Orleans is disgusting, for sure.
I mean, Baton Rouge is gorgeous, although LSU's there, but it's a gorgeous place other than that school.
Yeah. Gux Tigers or whatever.
Yeah.
Do better.
I always tell people, this LSU fans, I said, oh, I'm sorry, you can't spell right.
Right. Let's see here. Yeah.
Catherine, Georgia fans.
Catherine says Arkansas is pretty too. You know what? You're right. Arkansas is very pretty. The only problem I have with Arkansas is how flat it is.
Mm-hmm.
When I drove through there for work about 2 months ago, I went to Texarkana, and I was just amazed by how flat it was. It was beautiful and lots of just pretty forest and wooded areas all throughout. I was like, wow, that's cool. Where's y'all's mountains at, though? You gotta understand though. I love the mountains, one, and two, I'm just surrounded in the foothills or the end of Appalachia. So seeing flat ground is boring to me.
It would actually freak me out.
Yeah.
I've looked out my window all my life, except when I lived in South Alabama. Growing up northeast Alabama, I've looked out my window and I've seen mountains my whole life.
Yeah. Sorry, Catherine. Maybe it's just the part I drove through.
If I was to live in one of the flat states where tornadoes travel through 5 of them at one time,
Right.
I couldn't do it. God bless them people, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, Lord, if I step out my back porch and I see my neighbor 2 miles down, that ain't no. I don't want to live like that. That's almost as bad as having them, too close to you. Almost as bad. Like South Dakota. Yeah.
South Dakota's got a good football team, so I'll let y'all slide on that one. Well, y'all have a mountain. It's the one with the president's faces on it.
Oh yeah, Rushmore.
Yeah,
Rushmore. That's right. Yeah, you guys too cold though. I don't want no part of that.
No, I'm not a jacket guy.
Yes. This is true. So yeah. Anyway, let's try to get back on track. Oh, sorry, y'all. But yeah. So it's interesting, man. Like, Alabama, we don't get like the attention that I feel we deserve as far as cryptids and paranormal activity and all that stuff goes. Like, Georgia and Tennessee gets all the limelight, and I think the problem with that is it's because more people are willing to speak about it there, whereas here, if you really look into it, I think we actually have a lot more going on. The problem is nobody wants to talk about it.
Yeah, I believe we do have a lot more going on than the only place I can honestly swear that has more going on in it is West Virginia.
And
that is the birthplace of everything weird.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah.
Alabama, we have what was called the Gator Man, the Wolf Woman. Bigfoot, Dogman, Cat People.
Goat Man,
yeah. Then you have what the Cherokee, I forget the name of it, but it was basically, they called it a man-eater, but it would look like a woolly mammoth. So
that's a new one.
Who's to say they lived long enough to see the Cherokee and Creek and died out,
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Oh, we also have Pukwudgie, apparently in Piedmont. Is it?
I've heard.
Is it the Chocoloco monster? Is that it?
The Chocoloco monster was a guy that dressed up to scare kids off that was banging on his property.
Oh. Well, in that case, I think that's going to be my spirit animal right there. I like that.
He ran the kids off.
That's awesome. I was just referencing my quick Alabama lore book here, and I was like, oh, wait a second. That does sound kind of familiar. I wonder if it's in there. And that was the first thing that popped up that I was like, I don't recognize that. Throw that out there.
But yeah, then you have the Coosa River monster.
Yeah, we got lots of water monsters. Yeah.
The Faultville Metal Man.
The mailman? What?
Metal Man.
Oh, I thought he was bringing too many bills or something.
The Metal Man is complete BS. It was really for publicity.
I see.
But yeah, they was pictures, and it's been passed on for so many years like it really happened. But I mean, it really happened. The guy took a picture of a guy dressed up in a metal suit.
Yeah, very cool. Mm-hmm. Probably
What
2 packs of aluminum foil there, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice, very nice. But yeah, like the moral of the story is though, is like there's so much here, you know, and people don't really speak up about it. I mean, what do you run into with your field investigations with the state of Alabama? Like what do you think about all that?
It's really hard a lot of times to get people to talk to you.
Yeah.
And then you have to really see if what they're saying is truthful. Also factoring in, were they scared when they seen it and embellishing it, or, you know, if this is just something for attention, honestly.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we can't, you know, underestimate the great North American crackhead. So, I mean, there's always that.
Well, it's Alabama, it's meth heads.
Yep, that's true. That's true. Yeah, but I mean, it's interesting to me. Like, you know, it never ceases to amaze me. Like when I would talk to somebody like at work or whatever about anything on the subject, you know, and I tell them a story, and then they would have one to tell me back. Like, it seems like it's so prevalent here, but just getting them to open up and talk is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and shoot,
I honestly think people in Alabama, we like to be private.
Yes.
We don't want to be told we're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And we sure don't want the government meddling in our business.
I think that's number one right there.
Yeah.
We don't want nothing to do with Big Daddy government. We like Trump, but we don't want the government here.
I have nobody in Alabama trusts the government.
Mm-mm. No, that's very, very true. I've not thought about that, you know, and it's been like a pain for me because like I've been trying to get like mini docs going on and stuff like that and try to bring some attention to Alabama. But the problems that I always have is, one, the government. They don't want to allow filming, and there's not really a film office to even start trying to get permits for filming at. Besides, I think the nearest one's either in Georgia or there's one in Birmingham.
I thought I have one.
No, none in Huntsville that I've seen. The closest one I think is actually right outside of Rome, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably
I don't.
Cartersville.
It might be, but either way, like I don't know how they could do anything about the permitting here.
Yeah.
But then aside from that, it's more of like, you know, when I hear the stories from people and I go back and I talk to them, be like, hey, let's do some filming. Would you do an interview? Would you let us be on your property? Yada, yada. And they're just like, yeah, no, I'm happy to tell you about it, but no, I don't want a part of that. Like, ugh, really? You know, every now and again I get lucky and they're like, oh yeah, it was on public land. Here's the dot. You know, I can drop a pin here and you can go there, but I ain't going out there and I ain't talking to your camera. It's like, bro, come on.
I've had people say, I don't want you to show my face.
I wish they would say that.
Here, put your teeth in and hold this sign up. Put it over your face.
Hey, maybe if I go get some moonshine and bring it along with me, we can like maybe get people to kind of loosen up a little bit. Like, here, take a shot and just then we can start talking, you know?
That's probably the biggest reason they don't want anybody on their property. They're still making it.
That's fair. We actually got some really good shine in my area, I know for sure. Yeah, once again, Kentucky gets all the glory for there, but I digress.
Yeah, I've had some pretty good from Alabama. I don't drink anymore, but
Only
Yeah.
socially. Only socially. And on special occasions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just not social anymore.
I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, so, I guess what I'm trying to say is, everybody that's out there from Alabama watching this, get in contact with us, and let's bring a little bit more awareness. We've got so much going on. If you have stories, you need to tell people. Let's get it out there. Let's make this what it deserves to be, and you never know who it can help, because some people might be, out there thinking that, oh my God, I'm alone and this thing is only bothering me. And you'd be surprised to know that there's a lot of folks out there getting bothered by all kind of things. And that's not just for Alabama. I mean, that's, everywhere, like folks, we got to be able to communicate, because we want to be able to not only try to solve these mysteries or whatever, but also help each other, because that's ultimately what this is all about, right?
It really is, and I go out of my way to help people.
Exactly. And I mean, shoot, that was the whole reason why I've even started my show, is because, whenever I had my experiences going on, I didn't really have anybody to turn to. It took me a while to actually find community and come out and start talking, and then I felt like, you know what, maybe I should help the folks that need some help.
Yeah,
Try to pay it forward.
When I first started doing it, I was by myself. I was 18. Then I got with a couple of people. One guy, he was from Aniana. He's passed away now. His name was Hawk Spearman. We went out in the field. We started hanging out, talking, and got me to doing what I do now.
Right. Yeah. And it's one of those things, like, for one, it's fun, and for two, worst case scenario, when you go out in the field, at least you're enjoying yourself camping, right?
Oh Lord, yes. It's peaceful.
It's very peaceful. It's good to go out and touch grass.
It is. It really is. And people from the city don't understand that. Get out and be one with nature for a little while.
That's exactly right. It's important. It really is.
It really is, yes.
Yeah. Well, guys, let's see here. Oh, yeah. Well, guys, I appreciate everybody coming out. And Michael, I think we're going to start winding this thing down. We're at the hour mark. So before we do, just go ahead and share your stuff out again one more time.
My YouTube channel is This Weird World 99. And basically, I just do southeastern cryptids. And if you have any sightings, please holler at me.
That's right. Well, cool, man. Is there anything else that maybe you want to plug or promote or anything while we're here?
I really don't have much right now.
All right. That works. Well, all right. Well, I'm going to send you to the back, and I'll be right there in a minute. So just don't go anywhere, okay, bud?
All right, man.
All right. Well, folks, that's the show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope we learned a little bit about some of the weirdness here in Alabama. I mean, granted, we only scratched the surface, so which means there's lots more meat on the bone for a part 2. So that's always a good thing. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, And if not, it's nothing but a thing. But I love y'all, and we'll see each other later. I'm sorry if after next week's show, if I'm unable to come on in advance, I'm sorry. But I'll keep you guys posted and do what I can. So until then, tookie. Peace.
How it's supposed to feel.